Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 50 La Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Coming up. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin expresses surprise over passage of anti-LGBTQ bill.
It was
And in Channel 1 Business, Bank of Ghana investigates report of locked up funds at Equity Savings and Loans following closure of offices. In Channel 1 Sports, Sports Minister Kofi Adams announces government has secured 1,000 tickets for Black Star supporters ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Newsroom on Channel 1 television. Now, the Minority Caucus in Parliament is accusing the Mahama administration of breaching public trust over the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, popularly known as the Anti-LGBTQ Bill. The minority argues that the bill passed by Parliament to criminalize LGBT activities has lost its deterrence after the Majority Caucus deleted 22 clauses and introduced 31 amendments. Channel 1 News' Ni Aikwe Okain reports.
The House on Friday passed the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, widely known as the Anti-LGBT Bill, amid strong opposition by the Minority Caucus to amendments seeking to exempt individuals who provide legal representation to persons identified as LGBT from sanctions under the bill. And the proposed amendments also sought to protect journalists and media organizations reporting on the LGBT-related issues in the course of their professional duties, as well as medical, surgical, psychological, and counseling professionals offering services to such individuals. Now, addressing journalists on Monday, co-sponsor and Member of Parliament for Asen South, Reverend John Intim-Fojo, stated that the government's support for the exemptions was inconsistent with the objectives of the legislation and contrary to the expectations of Ghanaians who support the bill.
The same President Mahama who promised to sign the same bill that they wanted President Akufo-Addo, and we all wanted President Akufo-Addo to sign. However, when that bill was placed, the bill in that form was not presented to President Mahama, but had to be mutilated, had to go through major surgeries, had to be amended, had to be deleted. Original provisions from the bill, 22, had to be deleted, redrafted, and 31 insertions made before President Mahama would have it and desire it to sign it. Was that the promise? Was the promise to come and amend, review, mutilate, alterate, dilute the bill before he signs? You all remember. The promise was clear. Vote for me. I will come and sign the bill. on all their platforms. They said, vote MPP out because they won't sign the bill. Vote NDC. NDC will come and sign that bill. They did not say NDC will come and amend that bill. NDC will come and review that bill. NDC will come and delete provisions from that bill and redraft it before we sign. That is a scam, and that is breach of trust. That is deception, and that is hypocrisy.
Reverend John Intim Fojo also called for the old bill which was passed by the 8th Parliament to be presented to President John Dramani Mahama for his assent.
Please, these are dangerous dilutions. These are dangerous deletions and insertions. We should not be allowed to just go like that. We want the old bill to come. We want the old bill to come. The old bill is what has the deterrence, the teeth to bite. If you want to say, Adia, what that means is that the bill that was passed in 2024, President Mahama, you sign it in the shape and form as it was. The shape and form as it was passed. And the can say, Adia Kufuor went to me, Mahama Baya.
In a related development, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbeni, in addressing journalists on preparations towards the 4th African Inter-Parliamentary Conference on Family and Sovereignty, disclosed that the leaders on both sides of the House have been summoned over the passage of the anti-LGBT bill to ensure there is consensus for public acceptance and its implementation.
When it was passed on Friday, it was even a surprise to me, because I know that they were going to start the consideration of the bill. And that was the instructions I left before I went to attend to other activities. And so this evening, I have asked the leaders to meet me in my office. So they will be here for us to go through it. This is such a critical bill that we believe there must be consensus. Well, it's not about passing bill. It's about implementing it and making sure that it benefits the people. And so leaders of both sides of the House will be with me this evening for us to discuss what next after the passage of the bill. And I'm very sure that being men and women of wisdom will find a way out and to get all Ghanaians to buy and take.
The minority believes that if President Mahama assents to the anti-LGBT legislation in its current form, it would only promote the activity rather than serve as a deterrent. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, I am Ni Ayukwe Okine.
So that's the reaction from the legislative arm, at least the minority side. Let's go to the executive, and the head of the executive is President John Dramani Mahama. Now, he's indicated that the recently passed Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, which is known as the LGBTQI+ bill, still has a long way to go before it can become law. Speaking during a question and answer session at Chatham House in the UK on Monday, President Mahama said several procedural and legal issues surrounding the bill must first be addressed before any decision is taken on presidential assent.
The president has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent, and so once the president gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the presidency and the Attorney General would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the president is advised to assent. The president has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State for advice. The Council of State is an advisory body to the president, and so they will take a look at it, and then they will advise the president. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the president would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And so there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law.
Now, road transport operators have directed the public to disregard reports of a 20% increase in public transport fares scheduled to take effect on Tuesday, June 2nd, describing the announcement as unauthorized and illegal. In a joint press release signed by the General Secretary of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Godfred Abobre, and the General Secretary of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Emmanuel Ohini Yeboah, the operators say no discussions had been held with the Ministry of Transport regarding any fare adjustment. Let's get more on this particular matter and speak to Deputy Public Relations Officer of the GPRT, Samuel Amwa. He's joining us via Zoom now. Mr. Amwa, you're welcome to Channel One Newsroom.
Thank you very much.
First of all, my question would be, is your name and title part of the earlier communication that came on Friday, which suggested that the transport fares were going to be increased by 20%?
Yes, thank you very much once again. Good evening to you and your viewers. Yes, my name was part of this earlier release that came out, where, talking about 20% fare increment, which was supposed to, come on by tomorrow. So yes, if you ask me, yes, my name was part.
And did you know about this?
Yes, I'm aware of this. The reason being that this issue of transport fare, issues came up long ago, earlier when, we first decided to do some increment. Yes, we can't run away from the fact that before any increment will be implemented, the leadership will meet the GRTCC together with the transport ministries. Our first meeting, we wanted to do that when the minister, first called. You remember, that was the time the president also stepped in. Then we call it off. The assurance we got from them was that, yes, they are going to make sure that the fuel prices will be coming down. We look at the whole thing and we find out that the fuel price wasn't coming down. There was a lot of pressure coming from, most of the drivers complaining about high cost of spare parts, lubricants are up, insurance has been increased, DVLA has been increased, all the components that we use to run the business is going up. So the leadership, decided to meet the transport ministries, but it was, back and forth. So that's, prompted us to take a step like that. But then we knew very well that that step that we wanted to take wasn't the right one, because we know before anything can be done, it's the duty of the leadership to meet the transport ministry. But the whole thing was delaying. That is why all these things came in before the ministry also called for a meeting when the national officers together with the GRTCC met, and this decision has been taken. So
the statement that was issued on Friday is both legitimate and also signed by yourself and the others who signed it?
Yeah, it was legitimate, okay?
And it was signed, and you knew about it, and you signed it?
Yes.
And deliberately issued it?
Yes, we deliberately issued it, all right?
I'm asking you this because about an hour ago on radio, on Eyewitness News, on City FM, I interviewed your leader, your boss, the General Secretary, Samuel Abobre, and he said that that statement was, one, fake and not authored by all of you, and that your signatures were not on that. Someone just drafted a piece of document and put your names there, calculated mischief. He said you knew nothing about it. So what you are saying to me now is in sharp contradiction with what your boss said. So which one is which?
All right. So some of us, we are working directly under the national officers, and GPRT is also broad. And sometimes some of the things one can take a step, then the leaders will also come in to say that yes, the first step that you took wasn't the right one. This has happened before. We remember some years back during the MPP era, some of these things happened, and later we quickly did that correction. So he is the General Secretary of the Union. If any communique will come out that will call for an increment of transport fare. Normally, is the General Secretary of the GPR, that is Godfred Abubri, together with General Secretary of GRTCC, Emmanuel Hinieboa, for them to sign before any conclusion will be taken. This release was something that was prompted the public and the ministry to know that things are delaying. That is why these things come in.
But Mr. Amoah, so I want Mr. Amoah, if you said to me that the statement you issued was credible and genuine, and your boss said to me that it was fake, one of you is lying. Who is it? You or your boss?
No, the thing is, you see,
which of you is telling a lie?
I'm coming. Let me answer this. This directives was not coming from the General Secretary direct. That is why...
No, the General Secretary said all of you who had your names and designations put on that document, you did not know about it, and that the guy who wrote that thing has not consulted you, and that you put in anything about it, and that document is fake, and we should treat it as such. Now you are saying to me that it is not fake. He said because you didn't sign, you just had the word signed written there, it means it was not credible. You were saying that no, that document you deliberately planned, authored, and published the document. So if that's what happened, one of you is telling a lie because he said he consulted all of you people, you did not do it. So did you lie to him, or you are lying to me, or he's lying to me? Which one?
No, what I want to clarify for the benefit.
No, you've done the clarification. I just want to know which of you is not telling the truth to the public.
I have not listened directly from my General Secretary, and this is what I am saying. All right.
So, but you've not listened to him. But if he said that you didn't know about this statement, then that would not be true.
Well, maybe he has not questioned me because I believe that after all these things, there will be a meeting because when this earlier meeting was called, some of us were not present during that meeting. And because we are a group, I speak on behalf of the union. So if anything happens and, it doesn't toe the line of, the leadership, sometimes they may come out to correct issues. But what we want to establish is that yes, before an increment will be implemented, the General Secretary will sign, then also the General Secretary of GPRT, then the GRTCC General Secretary will also sign before it will be legit.
Very well. Now we have seen a statement from the General Secretary of the two saying that your purported increment is fake and should be disregarded. Should we disregard it? Will there be an increase of 20% tomorrow or not on Tuesday?
The leadership of the National Secretariat, they are the final, decided. That is why I said earlier on in my statement that although we came up with that release, but, the communication that went out is that, the final decision will be taken.
So there will be no increment tomorrow?
I'm coming. Let me... No. There's not going to be an increment tomorrow. Today, they have met and there is an agreement that the union, both the GRTCC and then the GPRTU should talk to their members to remain calm, to make sure that they go by, the current fares that we are taking, waiting for next price window to see what will happen.
Now that your communication has already come out since Friday and this counter communication has come, how are you going to deal with possible clashes between drivers and their mates and passengers who would say to them that, listen, you're not allowed to charge 20%, and they'll show the document saying that, here, your people said don't charge. Then the driver pulls your document and says, here, it says I can charge. How do you deal with that mischief that will be happening and the chaos that will result tomorrow? All
right. Number one, letters has gone out after the final decision was taken. 2, before we increase transport fares, what the GPRTU does is that we'll do all our calculations, we'll put it on the paper, we'll calculate from here to here. If we were charging this, now you are supposed to charge this. We do all these things on paper before we release it to all the 16 regions for them to also descend down to their branches, down to their locals, and all the drivers and the mates will have a copy of those, calculations in their vehicle.
Okay.
So what they can use to prove that, yes, we have been asked to increase is that calculation that we normally give them. And now, those papers or those calculations has not been given to them. So the information that we have passed earlier is that That supposed 20%, there is not going to be any increment, and that this is what the leadership is saying. So there is no way somebody will be charging unapproved fare.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. So if you're just joining us, the news is that there will be no increment in church fares or commercial transport fares, as earlier communicated. The GPRT and GRTTC have come to counter their own statement, saying that the earlier one was made in error, so it should be disregarded. So on Tuesday, when you board your trotro, you pay the same fees, no increments. This is Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Now, cattle traders operating at Kaukudi along the Kanda Highway in Accra have vacated the area following a directive by the regional minister to clear the stretch by May 30. Ni Okai Setre went there to check.
At a press conference on May 28, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu announced that cattle traders occupying the Kaukudi stretch along the Kanda Highway would be relocated by May 30. The directive followed growing concerns from commuters and residents over congestion, sanitation, and the persistent stench from the area.
Honestly speaking, we gave them up to Friday, and tomorrow is Friday. So hopefully, Ochina up to Saturday there, we can assure you that the entire place will be cleared. Because we met the opinion leaders and I mean, this is the first time this is happening. And so we've also directed the MC, said next time they should find a nice place for them so where they can display their livestock. So we are on course. Sometimes almost see because the place wasn't fenced, they come to the street. But upon when you go there, you see that they fence the entire place.
Checks by City News on Monday showed that the traders and cattle have since vacated the location, leaving the area visibly cleared. However, some waste and debris remain at the site. Speaking to City News, a resident welcomed the development, saying the stench has significantly reduced, but called on the traders to return and properly clean the area.
All this is because of them. No job. So no job if I get this one they do. Any job I have. Because that's why they do that. But they said to you now when they go there, to thank God, you know hear nothing. You only want to come and clean the place. To make the place make clean, to where they come and meet it. And that one to know that they will come back. Definitely they will come back and come and do it.
Now, the Ablekuma Central Municipal Assembly has demolished an illegal cattle ranch built on a waterway at Abosokai near the International Central Gospel Church, ICGC, in Accra. The exercise, led by the Municipal Chief Executive Frank Nkansa, forms part of intensified enforcement against encroachment on drainage buffers, which authorities blame for worsening floods in parts of the area. Rachel Ingman of the Channel 1 Newsroom has more in the following report.
According to the Assembly, the structure had occupied the waterway for nearly 3 years, despite several warnings, gradually expanding from a horse shelter into a cattle ranch. Speaking to Channel 1 News, Municipal Chief Executive Frank Nkansa indicated that the Assembly acted after prolonged engagement with occupants and stakeholders, stressing the need for community support to sustain the exercise.
Well, you see, this is something that has been existing for almost about 3 years. Before, it was only a place for these horses. That was where most of the horses were. And along the line, we noticed that they started bringing cattle around. Because of the salary, we will allow them to be there for some time. So we had given them several warnings. Indeed, it's also a buffer. So usually when they dredge the main drain, the drain you saw behind that, the storm drain, they put it on the shoulders. And because there is nothing happening around, that's why these people also came in there. But now the Assembly, we want to clear the place and see how best we can put in some ecosystems that can help to beautify the whole place.
Meanwhile, in Ablekuma North, the Municipal Chief Executive Adamu Musa Kalamu has been inspecting the silting works in parts of the municipality as part of efforts to minimize flooding during the rainy season. The development comes on the back of President John Dramani Mahama's directive to sanction assemblies and individuals who issue permits for developments on waterways blamed for recurring flooding and destruction. Both MCs welcomed the directive, pledging stricter enforcement to prevent illegal developments.
At the downstream, we have a lot more issues because usually when it floods, because almost every water, these are water that is coming, or the flood that is coming from Ebri or Equiapimda area. So we at the downstream, that's why we suffer a lot. But Garrett is working, and we know in the coming days, they have even earmarked the First Light area project to start very soon. And so we know when that is done, the flooding issue would be curtailed. As an assembly for the past 1 year or 2 years, we have not issued any permit for anybody on the waterway.
Some of the times, people go out there, they do their development. When it is time for us to take action to go in and demolish, then their safe haven will be that they have permits. Permit has been issued to them in the assembly 5 years ago, 10 years ago. When you put them to prove the permits, for years you will not see them again. We welcome the President's directive. I think it will be a wake-up call to all of us to take issues of flooding very serious. And as a municipality, we are not taking chances on that. All hands on deck.
An engineer involved in the exercise also warned against building on waterways, explaining that such structures obstruct the natural flow of water and significantly increase flood risk.
Before someone submits his drawings or his application for development, the technical committee within the special planning committee will make sure that the place is buildable. So once the place is not buildable, the person is denied. So those who are building within the waterways, they do that mostly on our bland side. Some of them do that on weekends and others. And in fact, if you go to that enclave, there are a lot of land guard activities. The moment you get there, land guards will surround you. So it is very difficult as an officer to go there without security protection. So what they do is basically they build to close the channels that convey the water. So when it happens like that, there is rather a reverse flow of water. Instead of it flowing downstream, it is rather reversing. So that is causing the flooding within the municipality.
Following the President's announcement to sanction any person who issues permits for construction on waterways, MMDCs have thrown their weight behind the President's directive, pledging interventions to protect lives and properties. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Rachel Engman.
Now, some residents affected by the Weija dam spillage in Accra say they are yet to receive any relief support from the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. The residents, many of whom have returned to their homes after fleeing flood waters last Wednesday, tell Channel 1 News' Fauzu Basawudu they are still struggling to recover from the impact of the disaster.
Life is gradually returning to normal in Titegu and other communities affected by the Weija dam spillage. For many displaced residents who sought refuge in churches, classrooms, and other temporary shelters, returning home after days of uncertainty has brought a sense of relief. But while the floodwaters have largely receded, the painful memories remain fresh. Many families returned to find their homes with no belongings.
By Omatum in the Ekakra.
The banner sound say, Omobia na hanging I am on a semu free as an
a ruby adam to be free as a wintermintina. I says, no man,
who's an out
Toby's.
I'll move you back to us.
Oh, Saturday and ban and be cleaning, no man. Mempa na me wardrobe ne me carpet woni nyina say.
Among them is Ama Owusua, who says the floods swept through her home, leaving her with significant losses.
Move back to us.
Me dafa kwa me gina ya sa ade
However, not everyone has been able to move on. In some low-lying parts of the community, stagnant floodwaters still surrounds homes, raising fears of disease outbreaks and worsening living conditions. One resident says she continues to battle the effects of the flooding and is yet to receive any relief items from authorities.
If you could die, will be chain. Best of 4 days in the end.
Back to us.
By any da bad as so free a dan a bass and you won't even die. It's best I could done upon a chain. And by as a sudden, what doing in a day, a free. What's up on the I am?
Yes, in Adam phones or more change, maybe Mohana Monsak.
The news team gathered that relief items were distributed at some temporary shelters, including the Church of Pentecost in Tetegu. However, the supplies were insufficient to meet the needs of all affected families.
We had about, you see this 1 kg rice, the sack, we had 15 of them. And then beans sack, about 11 of them. Then we had a rice, about 8 of them. And then 1 box, that's oil. And then some mosquito nets, bowls. The bowls were about 8 in number. But if you check the number of people, even with the Church of Pentecost, we had about 153. I've not even added that of Roman Catholic. Not to even talk about the whole town. That's another thing altogether. So the number of the relief items that came in cannot even match quarter of those that were affected.
You're watching Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Still ahead. Bank of Ghana investigates report of locked up funds at Equity Savings and Loans following closure of offices. We have that story in a jiffy. Please stay with us.
The best part of going home is family.
Sit up! Hey, mommy, my wife is cooking something delicious.
Lizzie Shito, hot pepper sauce, spicy. Bona yete, Lizzie, oh Lizzie. Lizzie Shito,
Lizzie Shito, the Shito is Shito. Lizzie Shito, overfill.
Lizzie Shito. Please, can I take some to school tomorrow?
Yes, my son, you can. Lizzie Shito dear. Ebesu obiasu.
Lizzie Shito hot pepper sauce. Yes, spicy and
Lizzie Shito hot pepper sauce. Spicy.
For bulk purchase, kindly contact 050-168-3344 or 050-155-0998. This advert is FDA approved.
Radisro, a day Simanisui, Dr. Samuel Koyo operation, cataract surgery. Misro.
Minia, Ustro saying, Cecilia Dr. Agawa, Ama operation ya yes simple krum ha won't say. Cecilia there no ABS.
ABS. And also
ABS nature say no anesthesia, no bleeding, no suture. Won't na hospital hokranche. Obeji disenra, mekoye surgery.
Sa.
Ani ene se medi ye mejume ne you. Se meni da hokle.
Wow, na simple sa. Ose hospital ba no.
Dr. Agawa's Eye Hospital. E bentesa no police station. Wow. For it was 0501-534-498 and 0553-019-311.
Dr. Agawa's Eye Hospital for eyes like new.
You're welcome back. Up next is Channel 1 Business with Nashika Caesar.
CNR Business is brought to you by EcoBank.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Well, it's now time for business, and Nashika Caesar is in studio now. Please take it over.
Thank you, Sanda. Now, the Bank of Ghana, BOG, has initiated processes to investigate reports of locked offices and customer withdrawal challenges at Equity Savings and Loans following increasing concerns from affected depositors. Channel 1 business sources at the central bank indicate that internal procedures have been triggered to ascertain the accuracy of reports that some customers have been unable to access their deposits for more than a year. We have more in this report by Daniel Sakiti.
This comes after complaints emerged over prolonged withdrawal difficulties and the closure of some branches of the financial institution. Checks by Channel 1 Business at the La Paz branch of Equity Savings and Loans on Monday afternoon showed that the office has remained locked for about a year. Similar observations were made at the East Legon branch, which has also reportedly remained closed for the same period. Several customers who save with the La Paz branch expressed frustration over their inability to access their savings.
Towns this Namiko so a balance like 450 something. And Rebecca buying say a panicha on your monkasana or mofa yesika mine because it's a system name wide.
Other customers lamented that the situation is affecting their business, with some calling on regulators to intervene and facilitate the release of their funds.
Me save almost best me find say 40,000, but as a me businessman me enti normal buy na me ko yibi na me de to enti hwa eka almost 11,000 na wo enti se sia no de sika am lock ni 11,000. Oh, affect me in so many ways to the extent say fun adwuma na me ye all of a sudden am lock sika dey affect me pa ama see adwuma me ye no akofom Kaminya says can am shima be my business na eden asan page aba business na senkia na eden senkem
so media me say me sabe ka me sika because mpenifo no ofre onwa omo de beba ne ebeba ochena ibi ko anu timi ho pani bi wa kra opportunity say onye adwuma wa kra da opportunity say onye adwuma wa kra da ofre na bangin o ma biye wo ya kan say joru ho nti yanko joru okojoru obekọ ho no na o ma loki ka so ade o ma loki baby ade o ma loki o mo branches nyina na o ma loki na mo je obi sika to baby na samuya say enya fine.
Meanwhile, Channel 1 Business understands that the Bank of Ghana has initiated processes to investigate reports of locked offices and customer withdrawal challenges.
We are here at the East Legon branch of Equity Savings and Loans, and we've been trying to access the building to interact with some authorities, but it is currently under lock and key. For customers we've been interacting with, they only want a refund of their deposits. For Channel 1 Business, I am Daniel Sakite.
Now, the 2026 City Business Festival has officially commenced, bringing together entrepreneurs, business leaders and industry experts for a month-long program to support business growth, innovation and sustainability. Organized by City FM and Channel 1 Television, this year's festival features a series of activities designed to equip small and medium-sized enterprises with practical tools to scale their operations and improve competitiveness. Other key activities include management bootcamp and roundtable discussions. Day one featured the festival's flagship honors series, where Assistant Chief Company Inspector at the Office of the Registrar of Companies, Frank Opokudaku, urged businesses to familiarize themselves with the current corporate governance requirements to avoid legal and financial risk.
The company inspector, or the one that you meet in front of you, will search on the system to see whether the name is available, and then sometimes it goes for a second opinion, and then at the second instance it can be refused. Maybe the limited liability or the limited by guarantee or external companies will go to the lawyers for final approval. The name can at that stage also be refused. But we need to search on the name and see whether the name is available or not before you can use the name. And then to talk about the name reservation, you can reserve a name for about 2 months.
That's 60
and maybe
days.
Yes, you are not ready to use to register.
The City Business Festival 2026 is powered by City FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with Absa Bank and sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN, Zonda Tech Ghana Limited and Petra Trust. Let's now bring you an update on crude oil prices and how the local currency is performing on interbank markets. And that's it for Channel 1 Business. I am Nashika Caesar. Sanda, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ashika. To some other stories now, and the Minister for Health is urging the public to adhere to the precautionary measures against the Ebola virus amid rising cases in Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. He made the call during a visit to the Manche King Taki Tekuchuru II. Channel 1 News' Manuel Ayama reports.
The Ebola outbreak in Central Africa has escalated, with hundreds of confirmed cases and deaths recorded in DR Congo and Uganda. During a courtesy call on the Gamanche, the Minister for Health announced Ghana's preparedness in the event the virus reaches the country.
The rate at which it's spreading is being declared as a public health emergency of international concern. And so there's the need for all of us to put precautionary measures in place so that we prevent it entirely. And so the good news is that we have not detected any case in Ghana yet, but then we have to tighten our borders. I've gone to the airport to check the measures we have put in place. I'm impressed, and we are tightening it up. Very soon, within the week, my deputy will also be traveling to some of the land borders to see what is there.
He further urged the public to strictly observe preventive measures.
What we require of every Ghanaian is to adhere strictly to the precautionary measures we are putting out there. For example, I think we need to go back to our hand hygiene, especially with public gathering. We are not prohibiting public gathering, but we think that every event organizer must make provision for a hand washing station, or we should use our hand sanitizers when we are in public gathering. so that at least we will be able to prevent the disease. And we are also advocating that anybody with some of the symptoms must rush quickly to these health facilities.
Meanwhile, the government disclosed plans to construct a 500-bed children's hospital at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, with funding for the project already secured.
I have been able to bring in investors. We have put in a lot of work. We have met with the board of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and we are eager to put this project, into action. Today, I have the project manual, that and a 24-hour pharmacy for Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And I want to give it to you.
For Channel 1 News, Manuel Ayama.
Now, health facilities in the Pandai district are grappling with inadequate bed capacity, a situation that continues to affect healthcare delivery and patient comfort. Some health workers say the shortage of beds has made it difficult to provide quality healthcare services across the district. Channel 1 News' Northern Regional Correspondent Mohammed Aminu Alabira reports.
The persistent shortage of beds in health facilities, popularly referred to as no-bed syndrome, remains a major challenge to health care delivery across the country. In the Pandai district, the situation continues to affect both patient and healthcare workers, with some facilities operating under severe bed shortages. To address the challenge, the Member of Parliament for Pandai constituency, Honorable Martin Mindam, has donated 60 detention beds and 10 delivery beds to the Pandai Health Directorate for onward distribution to KIPS compounds and health centers across the district. According to the MP, the intervention forms part of his commitment to improving healthcare delivery after witnessing the difficult condition under which health workers operate.
When we started going around advocating that power is given to me, it's been tough. Sometimes when we visit some of these facilities and we see the kind of pressure that health workers are going through, it touches my heart. It is on that note I told myself that if power comes, one of the things I will do for the health sector is to provide hospital beds, especially the delivery beds. You get to a place and the facility, the one in charge will tell you that it's difficult to receive labor in this facility because the beds that they have do not support labor. So today I am happy to announce that at least I have procured 10 of those beds to support your facilities.
Residents of the district also praised the MP for responding to the health needs of the people.
Sometimes people might come from far away to Pandai here to the hospital to get treatment, but they can come lack of beds. They don't have any place to lie on, so it will delay the time for them. Maybe the person is on emergency room because of that bed. It will be difficult for the person. So he giving us the bed, I'm glad of it. It's good because now I know that when somebody is on emergency to deliver something, lots of beds are available. It's good for that.
It's still the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Still to come. Sports Minister Kofi Adams announces government has secured 1,000 tickets for Black Stars supporters ahead of the FIFA World Cup. More on that when we return. Please stay with us.
old way. Let me show you a new and a better way. EduPack.
EduPack?
Yes, EduPack. A GS-approved and supported initiative for all first-year students going to SHS by Prospectus Ghana Limited. Now you don't need to go to the market. All your trunks, mattresses, pillows, including plastic chalkboards, are all waiting for your child at the school. Note, all our wooden chalkboards are being changed to plastic ones to avoid bedbugs.
You can also register by dialing *713*821# following the prompts, or you can visit www.edupackgh.com and tap register. You can also register at any ADB branch near you at a very affordable price. EduPack, approved and supported by GES.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Kakalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, is that you?
Improve car.
Yeah.
Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Femi Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Sasso, come tum preko.
Welcome back. Up next is Channel 1 Sports with Bernard Abeku-Ochre. Abe, you're welcome. Please give us the latest in the world of sports.
Great. Let's get into it, shall we now? The Minister for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, says the government has secured 1,000 tickets for supporters ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup in North America. With a tournament less than 2 weeks away, and the Black Stars continuing their preparations, including an international friendly against Wales on June 2, Adams said earlier planning was necessary to guarantee ticket access for Ghanaian fans. Speaking on Eyewitness News on Monday, the minister explained that the tournament's 3-country hosting format across the United States, Canada, and Mexico has significantly increased travel and attendance cost compared to previous World Cups.
It's really nightmarish, and it's a difficult one. This is the first time we are trying that, and for us as a country, this is the first time we are playing a World Cup in that zone. In 1994, when America hosted, we didn't qualify, so we never took part. And it's quite expensive. And this World Cup is not just expensive by the mere fact of the 3 nations hosting it or the distance from Accra, Ghana, but it is also expensive even with the tickets. The tickets are really very expensive, and they have become even more expensive because FIFA did the pre-order sales. Luckily for us, we managed and planned very well and effectively, and we ordered for 1,000. I believe that is what has saved the situation, because if we were waiting till now, it would have cost us huge sums of money to even get those number of tickets to be able to issue to our supporters and fans all over to also partake in the Mondial.
Let's now talk about the team itself. The Black Stars head coach Carlos Queiroz has confirmed that defender Alexander Djiku will miss the 2026 FIFA World Cup due to injury. Djiku, who plays for FC Spartak Moscow, picked up a late season injury at a club level, ruling him out of the tournament with immediate effect. In response, defender Derek Lucasen has already joined the Black Stars training camp in Wales and is fully integrated into the squad as he looks to seize his opportunity ahead of the tournament. Carlos Queiroz added that Ghana's friendly against Wales will serve as a key opportunity for the team to freely express themselves.
It is simple. We want to play great football. We want to play to win. We want to bring pride and happiness to the fans. That's the only thing that I'm sure our players they have in mind. And the message, it is a message of hope and confidence that being with them, not for so many months, but the training sessions that I did with them, all of them, they are fully committed to deliver to the nation, to the flag. So I'm very much confident that the message will be positive tomorrow. The game sometimes surprises. We have to make a decision and replace Zico. And it doesn't matter who was the player that I called, Zico was replaced. And now we're going to have the same group of central backs in camp. And the names, you saw them today on the pitch. So we're ready to take off.
Well, that's the very latest from the world of sport. And I am Bernard Abekoche. That's the sports under.
Thank you so much. I wish I could pronounce my name as long as you do yours.
Don't do, please, I beg you.
Well, that's how we end today's edition of the Channel One Newsroom. Visit our website, channel1newsonline.com, for information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Channel One TV on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Channel One TV. Download the Channel One News app on the Google